Okay, so today on section 2.5, the first lesson, we're going to talk. Here's our two learning targets. We have I can identify angle measures using linear pair and vertical angle conjectures. So that's one thing we're going to do. Another thing that we're going to do today is we're going to look at I can analyze the relationships between angles created by intersecting lines. Those are our objectives for 2.5. So let's go ahead and look into 2.5. Now, this is exactly what you have as your packet. It's just that I have just little pieces of it on each slide so that I have more room to write. So the first conjecture that we have is called the linear pair conjecture. It's C1. And sometimes you could abbreviate that as LP for linear pair. And here's what it says. It says that two angles formed by a linear pair, if two angles are formed by a linear pair, then the sum of the angles add up to 180 degrees. So here would be an example. If I drew like a flat line and then I drew a ray that extended from that, and I labeled this 1 and 2, angles 1 and 2 would be a linear pair. So angle 1 and angle 2, those are a linear pair. Another example, let's suppose that I just drew some perpendicular lines like this. And these are perpendicular because of the box. I have a 2, a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. There's a lot of linear pairs on this diagram. So I could say like angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. Angle 2 and angle 3, angle 3 and angle 4 are angle 1 and angle 4. So there's a whole bunch of linear pair, two angles that form a linear pair. Another example of a linear pair could be, like this. I could have a horizontal line, and then I could still have a line that goes like this. It's like at a slant. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. These numbers or these angles are in the same spot, and in fact, the linear pairs are going to be the same. Like 1 and 2 are a linear pair because they make up a straight line. 2 and 4 are a linear pair. 4 and 3, and 1 and 3. So anything like any two angles that make up a straight line are considered a linear pair. And because they're a linear pair, they add up to 180 degrees. So going back to this first one, angle 1 and 2 equal 180 degrees. So if I took the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2, I'm going to get 180 degrees. So if this was 120, then the other one would be 60 because they add up to 180 degrees. We'll do some examples in just a little bit, but these are just the conjectures that we start off with. So the second conjecture that we have today is called the vertical angle conjecture. You could abbreviate that with a VA, and that's what I'll know that that's a vertical angle conjecture. And here's what it says. If two angles are vertical angles, then they are congruent. So you just need to know what what they look like. So if I drew two lines that intersect like this, and I label the angles maybe 1, 2, 3, and 4. The angles that are across from each other are the vertical angles. So like angle 1 and 2, I make an arc with a dash. That means that those are vertical and they're congruent. 2 and 4 are across from each other. Those are congruent as well. So we would say angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, and those two are vertical. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 4, and those are vertical angles as well. Vertical angles, they would be the same measure. So let me just throw some numbers in here. Let's say this was 40 degrees. Okay, then automatically angle 3 would have to be 40. You can also use the fact that these would then be linear pairs. So like 2 and 3 are a linear pair. A linear pair must add up to 180 degrees. So if this is 40 and I did 180 minus 40, I would end up with 140 degrees for angle 2. Therefore, angle 4 would also be 140 degrees. So those are vertical angles. That's the vertical angle conjecture that we have. Now let's do some examples. So toward the next section of your notes packet, we have a couple different examples. We're going to start out with numbers 1 and 2. So number 1, first thing you do is you look at it and say, which conjecture am I going to use? Well, if I look at these angles, these are across from each other, and that makes it a vertical angle. So they're equal to each other. So the measure of angle A must be equal to 48 degrees. It's the same. They're equal. Okay, second one. So this is first one again is the vertical angle, so I'm going to put VA down. These, number 2, makes up a straight line, so that's a linear pair. So I'll put down LP, and they should add up to 180. So what I can do is I can take 180 and subtract 52. So if I subtract, I get 128 degrees, and that's for angle B. Okay, so we've had a vertical angle, we've had a linear pair. Now let's look at number 3. Okay, think about it. Is this vertical or a linear pair? Well, they're across from each other. This is an X, so this is going to be vertical angle again. And so therefore, the measure of angle C is equal to 88 degrees. Okay, so number 4, a little bit more complicated. It has maybe a couple steps that we need to take. So we first of all start up here at E. If I look at this line, that's a straight line. This angle right there is supposed to be the 26. That's right up there, that little one. So then that's a linear pair. So I first start by taking 180 and I subtract 26. So that's 154 degrees. So E would equal 154 degrees. Then I go down to D. Okay. Once again, I could make a straight line. So the angles 74 and D are once again a linear pair. I can find that measurement then by doing 180 minus 74. So I would do this, and I'd end up with 106 degrees. So D would be 106 degrees, E would be 154 degrees. Okay, let's go to number 5. Okay, so when you look at this one, you can kind of try to see linear pair or vertical angles. So the first one that I have up here, that's making a straight line. So which one should it be? Yeah, that's going to be a linear pair. So to get that F, I'm going to do 180 minus 82. So I subtract the 2 and I get 98 degrees. That's F. Make sure you put the degree symbol up on the top right corner for the 98. Then I look down there by G. G is over here. That makes up a straight line. So once again, a linear pair. 180 minus 114. That's 66 degrees. That's going to be the measurement for angle G, 66 degrees. Now we go over to number 6. Here we're going to again look and see, do we have vertical angles or linear pairs? Let's start up on the top, where H is. H, this is a straight line, that's a linear pair. So we'll do 180 and we'll subtract 69. So that would end up being 111 degrees. So angle H is 111 degrees. Now we go down to the bottom by J, and we recognize, okay, there's this X again, that's the vertical angle conjecture. And so J simply is the same as the vertical angle of 45 5 degrees. Okay, so this is section 2.5. We'll do 2.6 in just a second here.